Today we're doing Module 5, Lesson 27. The objective is to explain equivalence by manipulating units and reasoning about their size. Materials needed for today are online whiteboard or your whiteboard dry erase marker and dry eraser, and you will definitely want your fraction strips out and ready. The teaching style we're going to follow is where I do it, we do it together, and you do it on your own. First, I'm going to show you an example. It says, what missing number makes the fractions equal? If you remember a little farther back, we talked about how we could multiply and divide our numbers to get an equivalent fraction. Remember, an equivalent fraction are fractions that are the same, and that's what our equal sign here means. Okay, so I'm going to show you two different ways to do that. The first thing that you can do is simply get out your fraction strips and lay them next to each other like this. We have a denominator of 3 and a denominator of 6. So you need your fraction strip broken into thirds and your fraction strip broken into sixths. So I have the fraction 2/3. I have to figure out what is equivalent to 2/3. Okay, so first I can look at my fraction strip pieces and figure out where 2/3 is at. If I have 2/3, it comes all the way to here. So it lines up with this line right here. Then what I could simply do is count 1, 2, 3, 4. Well, if I shade 4 of the 6 pieces, that would be the same as having 2 of the thirds pieces. So it's super easy to figure out if you have your fraction strips and you just lay them next to each other and see where they line up. If you don't have your fraction strips, you could always just draw fraction strips or draw number lines. So that is one way to do it. And then I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to show you another way where we're going to get the same answer. Because it all depends on the way your brain works. You might have different ways to find this. The other way we're going to use is by multiplying. Okay? So, because this is smaller, I'm going to multiply to make it bigger because the 3 is smaller than the 6. So I need to multiply to make it bigger. So what do I need to multiply 3 by to get to 6? Let's start skip counting. 3, 6. I need to multiply 3 by 2 to get to 6. So 3 times 2 equals 6. If you remember the trick I showed you before, whatever you do to the bottom number, you also have to do to the top number. So since I had to multiply 3 times 2 to get 6, I'm going to multiply 2 times 2, and that should also give me my numerator. So count by 2's 2 times, 2, 4. And once again, I got that 4. Okay, so it seems really confusing, but you can use either way. You can use your fraction strips and see what lines up, or you can try to use the multiplication trick. Let's have you try one with me. I'm going to start with a multiplication trick, and then we'll check our work with our fraction strips. So I want you to write on your board 3/4 equals question mark over 8. Okay, 4 is the smaller number, and we need to get to 8, which is the bigger number, which means we need to multiply. So let's skip count by 4s till we get to 8. 4, 8. We had to skip count 2 times, so we need to multiply 2 times. So 4 times 2 equals 8, which means to find our missing numerator, we need to also do that to the 3. 3 times 2. Take a moment and solve 3 times 2, and then you should have your missing numerator. Okay, so we counted by 3's 2 times. 3, 6. Our missing numerator is 6. Okay, if you have your fraction strips, let's grab them out and check our work. We need our fraction strips broken into 4 pieces and our fraction strip broken into 8 pieces. So your 4ths and your 8ths strip. If you don't have your strips, you don't need to draw this. You can just watch. Okay, so the first fraction we had was 3/4, so I would shade, or you could just look and see where 3/4 ends on your fraction strip. And let's line it up with where that is on the 8th strip. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And that was what we came up with our multiplication method. So we're just looking for what lines up on our fraction strip. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and show you another example that is pretty similar but a little bit different, okay? So, same thing, what missing number? Now here's what makes it different. You can see that this time we have the bigger number or the bigger fraction and not the smaller one, okay? So I don't want to multiply because I will make it bigger. So if I multiply 3 times something, I'm going to make it bigger. So I can't multiply. I'm going to need to divide. Okay? So because the number with the missing piece is smaller, we have to divide. Okay? So that means I need to count by ones until I get to 3. Because what I'm trying to solve is 3 divided by 1 equals what? So I count by ones till I get to 3. 1, 2, 3. So I need to do 3 divided by 3, and that will equal what I get over here. It kind of seems a little bit backwards. So that means with the 6, I need to do 6 divided by 3, and that will equal what I have over here. So I'm going to count by 3's till I get to 6. 3, 6. And that equals 2. I know that is going to take a lot of practice to get used to, which is why we have those fraction strips. So you could just take out your fraction strips, find your piece that's broken into 6. Okay. It does get a little bit trickier because we know we have 3 of them. So we'd have to look at all our fraction strips and line them up until we figured out which fraction strip has one piece that is the same size as 3 of the 6. And what you'll end up finding is that your 1/2 strip has one piece that takes up the same amount of space. Okay, so let's try another division one. I want you to take a moment, write this equation on your whiteboard, and then we'll practice the division part. Okay, so we know we're doing division because we have the bigger number and we need to get to the smaller number. So we need to break it up. So we have 8 and we need to divide it by 2. And that will tell us what number we need to divide 4 by to get our answer up here. So 8 divided by 2, count by 2s till you get to 8. 2, 4, 6, 8. So that equals 4. Which means we need to divide our numerator, which is 4, by 4, and that'll tell us what our answer is. So take a moment, skip count by 4s until you get to 4, and write that in as your numerator. Skip count by 4s till you get to 4. 4. Only have to do it one time. So our numerator is 1. Okay, so the division, when you have to do the division way, it is a little bit more complicated, but remember, you could get out your fraction strips and do it the easier way. Bottom number is 2 and 8, so you need your fraction strip that's in halves and your fraction strip that's in eighths. We had 4/8, so we'd shade 4 of those. And then all you have to do is look, what is that equal to on the halves? It's equal to 1/2. Okay, let's take a look at what you're doing today for your homework. IXL skill W7, find equivalent fractions. So you're going to type the missing number that makes the fractions equal. Okay, so this is 2/6. The 2 is bigger than the 1, so we know that we need to divide. We need to break it up. 2 divided by 1 equals 2, right? Because you'd have to go 1, 2. So we're going to also divide the 6 by 2. 2, 4, 6. So 2/6 is equal to 1/3. All right, go ahead and get started.